In this video, I'm going to show you using the MrD slow cooker. Well, we don't often talk about food on our vlogs, but it's raining outside today. It's just a little bit of rain. There's a bit of a storm sort of coming in all over Murcia, right down to sort of Granada for the next few days. So while we're indoors, and well, something that we do now and again is we use the slow cooker to cook a nice meal for the evening. And the thing about the MrD slow cooker is that you'll notice it doesn't have any power on it, and it is a, well, they call it a thermal cooker. So it has this internal pot which has this large plate on the bottom that retains heat, and then the main container acts like a thermos flask. But what we did when I went shopping, I spotted this Cocido, this thing here. You'll notice it's €1.19, so that's about £1, and we got this container full of vegetables for stew. So it's sort of the winter vegetables. So I've got carrots in here, carrots and turnips and leeks, and I've got more stuff to go. There's these parsnips which I'm just peeling, and what we're going to do is we're going to put all these chopped up with a bit of the beef that I've bought into there. I'll probably take those out. I'm just putting them in there to store for the moment. Take those out, cook the beef up in there, and make sure that that's sort of browned off, released a few juices, add a bit of water, boil it up, pop the vegetables in, and then put the lid on, shut the main lid, and leave it for 6 hours. And without any further heat being applied to it, so not plugged into the electric, not on the gas, without any further heat being applied to it, it will slowly release that heat from the plate at the bottom that's sort of heated up while we're doing the initial 15 to 30 minute cook, and then it will be ready in about 6 hours. So I'm going to get on and finish peeling these, and then I'll show you the rest of the cooking process. The beef we've got is this, and they call it vacuno a tacos, and it's just basically beef chunks. So this is just over half a kilo, and it's €3.48. So just over £3, I suppose. Yeah, about £3, £3.10 maybe, £3. We've had this before a couple of times. It's actually really nice, and I don't need all of this beef in the stew. I'll use about half of it, maybe a little over half, and I'll cut it into slightly smaller chunks. I normally cut these chunks in half again, so they're easier to cook and easier to eat. So it's a nicer way of doing it. It's actually really tasty as well. Let's just get you down that way, so you'll see the size of the chunks. About an inch square, but what I like to do is just cut them in half and pop them in there. So I'm going to get on and do that and then get that cooked. Here we are, and we use the induction hob because this is fully metal and it works really well. Just about enough beef to cover the bottom of the pan, and I normally first of all add a bit of water and then pop that on to boil up. We like to give it a little stir to help it on its way, and remember this is going to be the main base of the stew, and we're going to put a bit more water in as we go. I don't like to put too much water in the pan while the beef is trying to cook there. So we get the beef sort of just about cooked. It doesn't need much, but then we add all these lovely vegetables. Look, there's quite a few there. It's there's quite a nice little pack for just for £1. It makes a good meal. So you can see the little bit of water I've got in there changing colour, taking the juices of the beef, and that's going to make the gravy. I would normally add some sort of stock cube, like an OXO or something like that, or maybe a bit of gravy powder, but I'm on the yeast-free diet, so no stock cubes for me, no gravy powder for me. If it looks like it needs a bit of that later on, and if Wendy wants some, I'll make gravy separately to have with it. I know, you could make it in there, but that would mean I couldn't eat it. So, but I think, a couple of minutes in there, a lot more water. Give it, so the water's now sort of really covering the beef, and I'm just going to pop these in. So you see, it doesn't need much to get that meat cooking, and then pop the vegetables, a couple of escapees down the back there. Make sure that there's enough water in there, because you will get some moisture out of the vegetables, and and nothing, because it's sealed, none of the moisture is going to escape. So I'm just going to continue to boil that and make sure that there is plenty of heat in the pan. So that's going to take a few minutes, so we'll come back when that really is boiling and we're ready to put it into the slow cooker. While that's boiling up, and you'll see it's starting to steam away there, it's just starting to bubble. You do get another pan with the slow cooker, and that's got the little handles on top. This is absolutely perfect for cooking rice to go with that stew. So that's bubbling away nicely, and what we normally have is the boil in the bag rice, and it works perfectly well out of the bag. So what we do is we just get that, tip it in the additional pan. Just go like that. So you'll see that we pop the rice in there, essentially just cover that with a bit of water. Let's show you what I'm doing there. I'm just covering the rice with a bit of water. You don't need too much in there, so you'll see it's just above the level of the rice. And what happens then is this is really nice and bubbling and boiling up, and really make sure, we've been about 20 minutes total prep and boil up at the moment. Pop switched that off, so that's now switched off. It's nice and bubbling, and you can still see, let's just show you that it is just bubbling there. Oop, yeah, so nice and hot. And then we pop that pan on the top of there, and then there's a little lid to go on top of that. Right, so that's all in there. Then what we do is we get the other bit of the thermal cooker, which this won't be heated at all. So you don't place this on the heat. It's plastic. It's like a thermos flask. Open that up. Get the main thing with the extra rice in. Pop it in there. It's now 25 to 1. So that's sort of lunchtime, and we've already cooked dinner. So that goes, that'll seal down like that. There you go, and pop that back out of the way. So there we are. That's the slow cooker with a rice going on top, and a lovely beef and winter vegetable stew. So here we are, we're going to have a look at the finished article. This has been in for a good few hours, so it is just really open it up, and there's the lovely rice. It's all nice and separate. It doesn't stick to the pan, and that's just really with that cold water on and left in that pan to heat up. And then underneath, we'll use this. Underneath we'll have the lovely beef stew and vegetables. Now look at that. Perfectly cooked vegetables. Just let me grab hold of one of those. Oh, that really is tasting really nice. We do cook a meal like that, and didn't it look great? And we're travelling. What we do is we pop it in this cupboard. There's a cupboard just by the door, and it fits nicely just down there on the floor. That cupboard will close, keeps it all nicely in place, keeps it secure, and then when we get to our destination, if we are travelling, we're not travelling today, we just get it out, serve it up. No fuss about cooking after we've had a long drive.